So what did a typical training day look like for you at the Bolshoi Ballet
Mm,
School in terms of like intensity, workload,
mhm,
expectations, and how did you adapt to that environment?
yeah. Well, each year had its separate challenges. You're working in the 3 years I spent there. You're working toward the state diploma, which gives you the right to be a ballet dancer, and then if you want to go on and teach, you go and do further study. So your main focus is preparing for these state exams that come in your second year and your third year, and there's a lot of material inside of a syllabus that you're having to learn inside of your classes. And then again, as I mentioned before, there was a lot of extracurricular preparation for performance and for competition on top of that. And then you have your full day of academics mixed in. So I can share kind of an example from my second year that I'm in the company when I was in the school. I decided to live off campus, which was much better for my mental health. Most of the girls also are in high competition with each other. So it's not necessarily sanctioned, but everyone is doing it, is training with a private coach outside. So I would wake up at 6 a.m., do some conditioning, and then go to my coach on the outskirts of Moscow, work with her for an hour and a half, then get back on the train and go to ballet. I would have a lesson like music literature or history of art, and then we would go into ballet class, which was in the middle of the day, and that was 2 hours. And then we would have either character or point or variations or historical dance or contemporary pas de deux. So that would, every other day you'd have some different things. So you would have two of those classes on after your ballet class, and then we would have what was called practica, and then rehearsals on top of that. And in between those different classes, you would have like, I don't know, math, science, literature. I had a Russian for foreign speakers, which that was really helpful, especially the first year, because I mean, trying to dive right into Russian academics was challenging. And the system is the academic system is quite different from the American system. And I remember that being a really big adjustment of you're supposed to go to those classes to listen, and then your exams are you orally explaining what you've learned or what you've absorbed. And it's kind of a lottery. They'll say the test is on these 140 themes, but you're going to pick one or two of those themes out of like their little tickets like that, and you'd have to explain. So it's just like you'd have to retain so much information in your head. And normally after, rehearsals would finish quite late, and then I would go back home on the metro. So was kind of like a typical day.
Wow, that's quite a day.
Yeah, I mean, it was really, especially in the last year, I remember it was really, really long days, really hard, really intense, and a lot of extracurricular work outside of the theater and on days off. And I mean, I remember I didn't really have any days off, and I was, there's such pressure on you to maintain a certain aesthetic, that I was constantly doing some kind of workout, some kind of something to try to stay in shape.
Yeah, I can imagine. It is interesting. I had never thought about like how you mentioned you do almost everyone did privates as well, like on top of the everything else you were doing.
Yeah.
That's just so interesting. And yeah, wow, what a schedule.